Okay, now let's add some columns. I'm going to draw a rectangle. Click on the rectangle tool. So let's say you want to add columns here on this setback, and you want your column to be aligned or parallel to this surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back this line. I'm going to click rectangle tool, and I'm going to type 1.2 feet, comma 1.2 feet. Enter. So if I zoom in, okay, so this 1.2 by 1.2 feet column is not completely aligned with that line. So I have to rotate this rectangle. First, I'm going to select the surface, then I'm going to double click. When I double click, I'm not only going to select the surface, but also all the lines that are creating that surface. So all the border lines will be selected as well. Now I'm going to group this object. So one advantage of turning objects into group is that they're not going to stick to other objects anymore. Before that, if this was not a group, if I move this, for example, line, this line, because it's connected to that, will also be moved. But now I can easily move this rectangle without any sticky effect on the other line. So now what we want to do is to, again, rotate this rectangle. So I'm going to click on rotate. I'm going to hover over this endpoint. Click. I'm going to go and select the other endpoint of this rectangle. And then I'm going to hover over this line and click anywhere on this edge. So that's enough for aligning that rectangle through that angle. Okay, so when your object is grouped, you cannot directly use push and pull tool. For using push and pull tool on a grouped object, you have to first double click and then go into something called isolation mode. So when you're in isolation mode, you can edit that group. So now I can hover over that surface and then use push and pull tool. And let's say I want to extrude this rectangle exactly to the height of the first level. So I can hover over this edge and click anywhere. And that's good enough for extruding that rectangle with that distance. Okay. If I click outside, I'm going to get out of the isolation mode. Now I have created my column, and now I can copy and paste it along this path. So let's say I want to add one more column right at the middle of this distance. You can guess what I'm going to do. I'm going to use move tool. Hover over this endpoint. It's very important which endpoint you pick. I'm going to hover over this endpoint. Click option to turn it into copy tool. Then hover over the other edge. Place. Click. And then as soon as I click and copy that column, I'm going to type divide 2. Enter. Now that I've divided this distance and copied this column, I can go ahead and delete the first copy.